times in the last month, maybe a couple weeks, have you thought about your weight? How many times have you felt uncomfortable in your clothes? How many times have you avoided looking in the mirror or told yourself, I'll start getting in shape when things actually slow down? Now imagine this, it's 5 years from now. You're still telling yourself the exact same story, except now your doctor is warning you about pre-diabetes. Your marriage has lost its spark because you've lost confidence in yourself. Your sex life isn't where it was. Your energy is low and depleted. Your kids have learned from your example that it's actually normal to live life from the sidelines, especially if you're busy. And the worst part, getting healthy will be even harder than it is right now, if you even still have the choice. See, what you're calling comfort, and I'm going to say comfort in that sense, today isn't really comfort at all, as it turns out. It's slow motion devastation disguised as being too busy or waiting for the right time. And this is what's happened to countless people who I've gotten the pleasure to work with and help them to get out of that. If this hits home, go ahead and drop the word truth in the comments, because today we're going to get pretty real about what your comfort zone is really costing you and what it's holding you back from. So before we get started, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your comfort and your comfortable life is actually a ticking time bomb. I'm going to also show you the real reason you keep putting off your transformation, how to finally break free from the comfort zone trap, and the exact first steps to reclaim your health and confidence before it's too late, before you get the notice that you've got the big C, before you get the notice that you're almost diabetic, before you get the divorce papers, before you get your kids wishing that you had been present more and just wishing that you had the energy to throw a ball or to be in the photos with them. Now's the time. Today's the day, and I'm going to show you that. So before we dive much deeper, I want to offer you something very, very powerful. Many of you guys know I've been in the fitness coaching and fitness and fat loss career for right at 20 years. I started back in 2005. And with that, I've gotten the chance to work with countless individuals, from people who struggle to lose weight and keep it off to people who lose weight repeatedly and keep on doing the same diet trends, people who have gotten injured. The list goes on and on. And one thing that separates me from others is that my whole approach is not based on you losing weight as quickly as humanly possible. It's actually going to be based on you losing weight and transforming your physique in a way that not only is possible, not only is doable and enjoyable, more than anything, it's a way to keep the weight off forever without the rigidness, without the injectables, without all the added stress, and without living like a fitness monk, okay? So with that being said, I've opened up 5 spots on my calendar this month for transformation strategy sessions. Now, this is a free 45-minute call where we're going to map out exactly what's keeping you stuck and create a very clear path to break free. Now, these spots are only for people who are absolutely serious about change, okay? If that's you, you can go ahead and drop a comment ready in the comments, or you can click in the description box below. You're going to see a 14 to 16 minute video that I put together specifically for my private clients to understand how dieting and how diets affect the metabolism. And I really know that you're going to get a lot out of that. And below that video, you're going to see my calendar, in which case you can go ahead and book a spot with me. And you'll see a little bit of an application where it's going to tell me a little bit of what your goals, your struggles, your obstacles are, so that I can know better how to serve you on that call. So nevertheless, if that's you, please be sure to click that link below. I would love to get the chance to chat with you a little bit and figure out what is really holding you back, which of the 6 weight loss traps you might be stuck in, so I can help you to finally get out of those and enjoy life in a way that you might not have even thought possible in a long, long time. So if you're new here, welcome back, or welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. My name is Lance Carone, and I help professionals and entrepreneurs achieve permanent fitness transformations without the crash diets, without the torturous workout sessions, and without the expensive appetite suppressing injections and lipo and all that stuff. So Since 2005, right at 20 years, I have helped hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of food-loving clients build strong, lean bodies and regain confidence and energy while actually enjoying the process. And I realize that sounds too good to be true, but I assure you, I am not the most disciplined or willpower addled person by any means. And I want to show you how if you're a food lover like me and maybe you are a little bit more sedentary, how you can still enjoy your life and get fitter than you ever thought possible. So what I want to do is start by telling you a little bit about a client of mine. We're going to call her Bree. Because again, there's certain stories that I want to try and keep a little bit more private to the person. But this is a story that I've gotten permission to share. I'm going to share a little bit about this. And Bree was a client whose story might sound familiar. As a corporate manager leading a large team, she was always busy, and I mean always busy. Back-to-back meetings, constant deadlines, endless responsibilities, and she knew that she wasn't feeling her best. That was something that she has spoken about for, I would say, a good year or two. And she spoke about that with her family quite regularly, but her clothes were getting tighter. Her energy was at rock bottom, unfortunately, and she didn't really like what she saw in the mirror. That was a given, but she kept telling herself it really wasn't that bad. So sure, she wasn't happy with how she looked or felt, and sure, she didn't have the energy that she wanted, but she convinced herself that it really wasn't bad enough to overturn the apple cart of her life because she was so dang busy. So for her, she had convinced herself that the pain she was feeling wasn't really all that bad. And that might have worked for her to be able to keep on getting work done. But unfortunately for her, she told herself there would be a better time to focus on her health, which was always later. But then two things really finally happened that shattered that illusion for her. The very first one was, and we all know kids say the darndest things, but her kids asked her with such innocent sincerity why she was always too tired to play with them, and when she wasn't working, why she never wanted to be in any family pictures or videos, and when dad would turn on the camera to get them shots, she would kind of screech and say, no, I'm not dressed, I'm not made up, and it was always that way. And so, obviously whenever she mentioned this to me, she felt embarrassed because she said, obviously, if her kids are noticing and they're seeing how she's pulling at herself and at her clothes, she doesn't want to give her kids those same insecurities, and she wants to lead a better example for them, but she didn't know where to start. So this is where the second part that happened was that her husband mentioned planning a very much needed family vacation for them. They were always busy, always working, and they both decided together that they wanted to make sure that they put the family above their careers. And for her, her immediate reaction wasn't excitement, even though she knew that it was going to be something that they really needed. It was actually panic at the thought of wearing a bathing suit. And yes, she had been married to her husband for a long time, but she hadn't allowed him to see her with the weight that she had gained. And I won't get into all the details, but intimacy was lacking, you could say, quite immensely. So that's when it hit her. She had been lying to herself about how much pain she was actually in. She wasn't protecting her comfort zone. She was actually watching her life slip away, one missed moment at a time. And that's when everything changed for her. Now, that's the good news, is because when she finally got serious and honest about the pain that she was actually in, instead of pretending that it really wasn't that bad, she finally broke free from that, we're going to call it rat wheel trap or, hamster wheel trap, whatever we want to call that. And for her, it led to finally making changes. And what you need to know is that if you're in a comfort zone in your life, but you know that there's better, until you begin to process and perceive that what's out there is better than what you're doing, even if it does cost you a little bit of time, energy, money, you're not going to take the chance. You're not going to take the chance. You're not going to make the changes that you need to make. So I want to give you 4 different strategies that are in succession to help you to finally get out of the hamster wheel that Bree was stuck in, so that you can finally actually get to where she got some really, really amazing results. And she did get some amazing results. So the very first strategy is you've got to get real about what your current lifestyle is actually costing you. I know that sounds simple. I know that sounds duh. But the reality is that if we're constantly glossing over how bad things are, and we're like, well, yeah, I realize I'm 60 pounds overweight, but my friend is 100 pounds overweight, or well, I've lost 40 pounds. Yes, I'm still 60 pounds overweight. Yes, I don't feel good, but it's not as bad as it used to be. You're never going to get yourself to make the change, because we only take consistent actions when we see that there is pleasure on the pursuit of what we're aiming for, or we're leaving pain of where we're coming from. And if we don't perceive that we're in pain now and that there's pleasure to be had out of what we're pursuing, what's the point? We're not going to take any action. So what you need to know is that your comfort zone isn't comfortable, okay? It's a prison of constant mental chatter about weight, your shape, and your health, okay? You guys, if you're anything like me, you probably have those ruminating thoughts when you're trying on something, even if you don't say it, and you're like, this doesn't look good. Crap. Well, I guess I just got to suck it up. Or you put on something and go, nope, take that off. And put on something else, nope, take that off. And then you finally end up settling for something that doesn't look good, but at least it hides all the features that you're worried about being displayed. Now, the other thing is that the energy that you spend thinking about your weight could be building your career, or loving your family, or learning to do things like, again, I have hobbies like you see behind me for music. I draw, I paint, I do a lot of different things. And if when I was constantly focused on my self-image, I didn't feel like doing those things because all of my energy was wasted and used on these we'll call them ruminating thoughts, okay? So what you want to do is make sure that you do not minimize things by saying, well, it's not that bad, or it used to be worse, or it's not as bad as somebody else, because it's keeping you stuck in this slow burning pain where you're never going to get out of it. Because ultimately we make decisions based on pursuing pleasure or removing ourselves from pain. And if you don't see what you're currently in as painful enough, you've convinced yourself that where you're at is comfortable or pleasurable enough, there's nothing to change. This is a mindset problem. Every day that you wait, the price gets higher, physically, emotionally, and in your relationships. And that's if those relationships are still there by the time you finally make the decision to serve yourself and to serve your family and those around you. So strategy 1, get real about what your current lifestyle is actually costing you. I promise you, it is not as comfortable as what you have convinced yourself what it is. Strategy 2, you've got to define what you truly want and stop settling out of fear, okay? So this is where most people have a moving target. They're like, well, I want to feel better. I want to be healthier. Duh, who doesn't? But you've got to be specific about what it is that you want. Otherwise, you're going to make excuses on what you need to do or what you don't need to do. The reason is if you decide, I want to get 60 pounds off, you've got to take action to make that thing happen. But if you're telling yourself it's not that bad and you don't set a goal other than, well, I want to be healthy later, what actions do you take outside of that? Because you're not really telling yourself there's a quantitative goal to reach. You haven't given yourself anything specific that you want to reach. So you basically keep on kicking the can down the road. So what you want to do is you want to list your specific outcomes. Are you looking for more energy? How much? Define it. Are you looking for better intimacy? Where? What does that mean? Is that a better sex life? Is this more confidence? Maybe you're like me, where in the past, even though I was a personal trainer, my body dysmorphia and my health was not in good shape, so I didn't even want to have my shirt off in front of my wife. That's not it's not really conducive to building an intimate relationship with your spouse. You know what I mean? So you've got to ask yourself, what do I want out of this? Better intimacy, feeling confident in your clothes. And then you want to ask, what moments are you missing with your family right now? Are you missing out on photos? Do you not go into the pool with them? Are you afraid to be in videos because of how you look? Do you avoid things and hide out on the sidelines? If so, these are the areas you want to start with, because you are basically, because of your self-image, you're putting your family on the back burner. Then from there, what opportunities are passing you by at work or in your business? Would you be going out for that promotion if you felt you looked better or looked the role? Are you embarrassed in front of clients whenever they see you? And even though you're confident over the phone, when they see you, you begin to think, they think I'm this way or that way. I've had some clients in the past to say, yeah, I'm really good at my job, but every time that a new client sees me, I feel suddenly embarrassed that they feel like I don't even have the discipline to control my food because I'm so big over the years. And those are hard things to come by because you can either speak out loud about those ruminating thoughts to those clients to say, oh yeah, well, you might have noticed I'm a little heavier than what I was 10 years ago or 5 years ago, blah, 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 and start explaining it. Or you can start doing something about it. And that's the idea here is so you want to actually get yourself where you're defining what it is you truly want here. What are you missing out on? What opportunities are passing you by at work? Do those matter to you? And your busy schedule isn't the real barrier. It really is fear. So I know that you've convinced yourself that you're too busy. Work is too this or too that and the kids and all the things. I get it. But really, those are low-hanging fruits to as barriers and obstacles instead of acknowledging I'm just afraid of what it's going to take and how long it's going to take me to get the weight off and to feel good about myself. So being honest and defining what it is that you want and what you've got going on and how much it's costing you is really the first two steps. Now, so step 2, define what you truly want and stop settling out of fear. Step 3 is to determine why this is a must and not just a should, okay? When I say it's a must, it means like, again, if your doctor tells you, hey, you are now type 2 diabetic, and if you don't change your eating, you are going to be on insulin, you're going to eventually die. Most people hear that and they go, whoa, this is serious, and they start making changes. You have to convince yourself that it's serious long before you get that horrible news. And the only way to do that is to take a look at the trajectory of where you're heading, okay? So step 3 is you've got to determine why this is a must and not just a should. So what I want you to do is to ask yourself, what happens if nothing changes 1, 5, or 10 years from now, okay? If you're pre-diabetic now, and you're 40 or 50 pounds overweight and you don't have enough confidence and energy to do these things that I'm talking about, what happens in 1 year? Do you see that getting better? I don't. What about in 5 years? What about in 10? I want you to really stop and think about this. Who else is paying the price for your comfort zone? Are your kids missing out in photos? Are your kids missing out of learning how to be confident in their own skin? Are your kids missing out on learning how to eat healthy and be confident? Are your kids missing the emotional support because you need the emotional support for yourself because of how bad you feel about you? These are the things you've got to be thinking about. Besides who else is paying the price for your comfort zone, what example are you setting for your kids, for your team, your coworkers? Really think about that. What message are you sending to your clients? Are you saying that you are the guy or the gal to be taking care of them? Are you sending a signal that you can't take care of yourself and maybe they shouldn't trust you with their stuff either? These are the things that you've really got to be thinking about. Even if you've been successful in your career, your business, or what have you, these are the things that are on your clients' minds, your kids' minds, your team's mind. And then lastly is I want you to make your why bigger than your excuses. So in order to determine your why should support your goal, which is your what. So your what is it that would truly make me feel more confident, more happy, more energy, and living at my peak life. So that might be, I want to be, if you're a female, I want to be at 25% body fat with a flat stomach, and I want to be confident enough to wear a dress with the sleeves, a sleeveless dress. If you're a guy, maybe you're where I was, where you go, I am tired of my belly being the first thing that somebody sees on my shirt, and instead I want my shoulders, my arms, and my chest to fill up my shirts. I want a flat stomach, and I don't want to have to keep on increasing my belt size. If those are you, that's your what. Now you have to determine, because this is where most people stop. People decide okay, this is what I want, and that's great. Now you have to determine, why are you so willing to do what it takes to get there? And if you don't know what it's costing you right now, you're not going to have a strong enough why. Your why should basically move you to tears, where you begin to fantasize and daydream and picture people coming up to you and going, Jenny, how in the world did you do it? You look fantastic. I always thought you were pretty, but I never realized how beautiful you were until I saw you do this. Or John, guy, man, you look so good now. I knew that you were an athlete before, but I didn't really know how athletic you really were. Or, hey, you always seem confident. I loved your personality, but you just radiate confidence now since you've dropped that weight and you put on that size on your shoulders and arms. Those are the things where you begin to fantasize and daydream about people coming up to you and doing that. Or maybe it's not people doing that. Maybe it's your spouse going, honey, you look so good. Or noticing that your kids are like, mommy, let's go play in the pool. And you're like, heck yeah. And you strip off the t-shirt and you're wearing your bathing suit without any hesitation. Or whenever you're finally confident enough to take that selfie and you don't even need to look at it to crop out how you look or to tell your kids, you cannot post this on Facebook. Those are the sort of things that become your why, where you start thinking and fantasizing about how clients see you and they pick up on your confidence and they immediately want to work with you, or you no longer get passed over for that promotion. These are your whys. Or again, if you're on medication like many of my clients have been and you're tired of it and you don't want it to get worse, you don't wait for it to get worse before you make the decision. This is your why, so it doesn't get worse. So you never have to be in the hospital bed having tubes hanging out of you and telling your kids, I promise I'm going to make a change. And you're already, just knee deep in sickness and depression. These are your whys. But if you don't get clear on this why, you're never going to take the action that you need to reach your what, which is your goal. The very last part of strategy 4, which is to face the real investment that's required. So just as a recap, strategy 1 is to get real about what your current lifestyle is costing you. Strategy 2 is to determine what it is that you truly would want. Here's my crappy life. Here is the ideal life. Here's what I want. Strategy 3 is, why is it a must for you to have this ideal life when you could just settle for this crappy one? Well, because this one sucks and it's going to kill me, or it's going to destroy my marriage or my relationship with kids or my business. This one here is going to add life to me, give me energy, better confidence, more freedom, more, all the things. Get clear about it. And then lastly is to face the real investment, because most people are just like, well, I want to get in shape, but I already know I'm going to have to work out 5 days a week for an hour and a half a day. I'm going to have to go on a diet, do Ozempic. I'm going to have to do all these things. No, that's not real. Those are the things that you perceive you're going to have to do. My clients essentially get to eat any of the foods that they want to eat just within a calorie deficit, which is not huge, by the way. Second to that, they work out 3 to 4 times a week maximum, and they're working out anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes a day. There is no hour-long, 2-hour-long, 6 days a week. It's all this crap that everybody throws on. Those are all the things that you do when you're trying to lose weight in 60 days, get it all off so that you can go back to your normal life, regain it again, and then do this again. But if you want to do it the permanent way, where you're done regaining over and over, do it my way, which is the Joyfully Fit 365 way. This means that you're going to do it a little slower, but way more permanently. And so when you get to determine what is the real investment required, well, you're looking about 90 to 120 minutes a week of workout time. That's not too bad. And you're looking at making some mild modifications to your nutrition, most of it just being portion sizes. And you're looking at being a little bit more active on your day-to-day walking and getting steps in. And obviously making some mindset shifts. But I would say that 70 to 80% of what you're going to be doing starts here. It's not your food. It's not going to be getting pizza taken away from you, or, oh, great, I get no more creamer in my coffee. Guys, these are all the bullcrap things that freaking coaches and trainers tell you when they don't understand how to make a functional, lasting lifestyle. I'm here to tell you that's not the way to do it. Stop doing it the quick, fast, quick fix way. You would have laughed at somebody who asked you, well, how do I do what you've done in your business or your career, but how do I do it in about a tenth of the time? You're going to laugh and be like, oh, you're looking for a get rich quick scheme. I don't participate in that. But if you don't participate in that, can you not look over at your fitness and say, the reason I've not done this is because I viewed fitness as a get fit quick scheme. I'm telling you to stop with the get quick stuff. No getting rich quick, no getting fit quick. Make it a lifestyle, but don't make it a sucky one. That's when you need all the willpower and discipline. If I remove all my fun foods, yes, I'm going to need a freaking crap ton of discipline and willpower. But doing it the way I do it, where I have potatoes and pizza, buffalo chicken pizza, I have a glass of beer if I want it, or a glass of wine. Last night I had Skittles. If this is the way you do it, it will not only be permanent, it will be enjoyable, and you won't need the willpower and discipline. So you've got to face the real investments required. So get clear on what time, what energy, and resources that you're going to need. If you need help with that, message me. Let's chat. If your why is strong enough, these are investments in your future. They are not chores for you if your why is strong enough. If these feel like obstacles, your why just is not strong enough yet. It's just that simple. And lastly is the cost of waiting is always going to be higher than the cost of starting now, okay? I cannot say that enough. The cost of waiting will always be higher because you know you want to do it. You know you want to get in shape. You know you want to feel better about yourself, but you're stuck thinking about what it's going to cost you. I got to work out. I got to this. I got to that. Yes, I get it, but think about what it's costing you now. Is your low energy worth it? Is how you feel in your clothes really worth it? Is avoiding all the moments with your kids really worth it? Think about it. Thinking about your weight all the time. Is it worth it? I've been there. It's not worth it to me. If it is worth it to you, go ahead and click the camera off or turn this off, turn the phone off, whatever you're watching on, because you're not in the right place. If it is worth it to you, you are in the right place because you are thinking about being done with the old and being ready for the new. So if you're ready to break free from your comfort zone prison, I want to help you create a clear path forward. So again, I've opened up 5 transformation strategy sessions this month. And on this call, we're going to map out exactly what's keeping you stuck. We're going to create a clear plan to break free. I'm going to go over options and strategies. We're going to determine if my coaching program may be a good fit for you. If not, what may be a better fit so that you can get the results that you want to live your ideal life. So these spots do fill up quickly. Every time that I run something like this, it fills up very quickly. So you can either drop ready in the comments or you can click the link below in the description and you can claim your spot now. So what I want you to do though is to remember that your comfort zone is anything but comfortable unless you're in your ideal shape where you're living to your highest standard. It's a slow descent into regret, missed opportunities, and poor health. But you can choose differently right this second, but it's up to you. If this message hit home, please hit the like button and share it with somebody who needs to hear this. Even if that's just sharing on your Facebook wall, it helps so much for me to get the word out to actually inspire people that what's keeping them stuck and overweight is nothing more than their mindset, and they don't have to participate in the grind like everybody else thinks that they do. So go ahead and drop a comment with your biggest takeaway if this resonated with you. And if you're ready to finally break free from the comfort zone trap, be sure to grab one of those strategy session spots before they're gone. I promise you, your future self, your family, your business, your marriage, and your health are going to thank you. So let me know, guys, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to hear about, drop those below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next one.